This presentation is an initial overview of PARCC assessment. PARCC is the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers. PARCC is administered in two parts. The first part is called the Performance-Based Assessment, or the PBA. Those questions are longer questions for students to answer and longer questions to have scored. They include things like a writing sample. The dates for the PBA are March 2nd to March 27th, and during that time, all students must be tested, including makeup tests. There will be math sections and English language arts sections of the PBA. There will be 2 sessions of math, day 1 and 2 of math, and those come first. Then there will be 3 sections of English language arts, day 1, day 2, and day 3. Next comes the end of the year session. The end of the year, or EOY, are more short answer, multiple choice kinds of questions, where students will have to pick the 1 or maybe the 2 correct answers. That will be administered from April 27th to May 22nd. It will include 2 sessions of math, day 1 and 2 of math, and either 1 or 2 days of English language arts. Once completed, the scores from the PBA will be added to the scores from the EOY, and the students will get 1 test score. PARCC will also be available in a Spanish version. The Spanish version of the PARCC is only available in mathematics, not in English language arts. For students new to the U.S. school, they will be allowed to be exempt from taking the English language arts portion of the PARCC test, and they will be able to take the math test in Spanish. This rule applies for students in grades 3 through 8. Our students will also be required to take some other tests. One of these tests is the NJASC test in science. This test will be given in paper version only to grades 4 and 8 students. The test will be following the same format that NJASC Science has followed in past years. There will be 1 day for the administration, May 27th, with a makeup date of May 28th. In addition to the NJASC Science, access for ELLs will be taken by all of our English language learners. This test will be given as a paper version only and will apply to all English language learners in grades K to 12. The dates for the access test unfortunately overlap with the PARCC Performance-Based Assessment, PBA. Access begins from March 2nd and goes through April 17th. Our attempt will be to schedule access testing for after PARCC testing is completed. However, in some of the schools where there's a large bilingual population, there might be some overlap between access and the PARCC test. PARCC testing allows for some features and accommodations to be available to students. Some of the features are available to all students, and as you and your students have gone through working on the tutorial, you've seen some of those features. They include things like being able to cross out answers that you want to eliminate, or enlarging the print size on the screen. Students, as they practice through the tutorial, will become comfortable with certain features and be able to use those if they need them during testing, or ignore them if they feel they don't need them. One of the accommodations, however, that's allowable in PARCC is extending time. Time is extended for students who have a 504 plan, who are special ed, or are English language learners. They are allowed to test for 1 full day. A general ed student will test either the entire morning or the entire afternoon, with the times provided in the examiner's manual. For special ed 504 and English language learners, those students will test the given time in the morning and then be allowed to continue into the afternoon to complete the test. They will be given 1 full day for each section of the test. In order for us to identify which accommodations which students are able to have on the test requires us to upload a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is called a PNP, or a personal needs profile. This profile is completed electronically, and in it we check off which accommodations which students can have. This checkoff list was completed by 504 team members, by case managers, by bilingual supervisors, and other people within the district, so that each child is given the correct accommodations. That PNP is uploaded into the Pearson PARCC website, is linked to the students once they are up there, and then as they log into the test, that PNP will allow them to receive the accommodations that were designated for them. Even though your students will be using the computer to take a test, you will receive a paper version of the manual on the morning of testing in order to guide your students through the testing process. PARCC will refer to you as the test administrator. The test administrator manual will contain scripted instructions for you to read step by step to guide your students through the testing process. The manual also includes lots of other important information, including things like the amount of time each session is allotted. In order for you to become familiar with this manual prior to testing, we will be emailing you an electronic version of the manual. The manual itself is well over 100 pages, so please do not print it out. Instead, just save it on your computer and refer to it during prep time and other times when you have the opportunity to review some of the items in the manual. In order to best prepare to administer the test, you would need to become familiar with the manual itself. As we continue to prepare for the PARCC online assessment, all staff information will be uploaded into the Pearson PARCC website. Once your name is uploaded, you will get an email from PARCC Pearson Access Next, and will ask you to log into the website. You will see in the email that there is a link for you to click on. Once you click on that link, it will show you that your username is your West New York email address, and it will ask you to pick a password. The password that you pick has to meet certain requirements, and those requirements are detailed in the email that they send you. Once you successfully choose your password, you're all ready to administer the test. On the day of test administration, you will be asked to log into this same website using your username, which again is your West New York email address, and the password that you chose. If for some reason you forget your password, West New York does not have a list of passwords that are uploaded into the system. So what you will have to do is you will have to look at the site itself and find the link that says Forgot Password. If you click on that link, it sends you a new email, and that email takes you through the same steps to reset your password. On the morning of testing, you will be asked to report to the testing room, and your administrator will provide you with a folder. This folder will contain several items. One of the items is the appropriate grade level manual that you will use to administer the test. This is the paper version of the manual that was emailed to you electronically earlier and that you should already be familiar with. Another thing in your folder will be student testing tickets. Depending on how many students you have, for example, if you have 15 students, you will receive 15 tickets. These tickets are unique for each student. They have each student's name on them, and also on them is the student's username and password that they will use to log into the test and that the testing will use to identify them and their answers. In addition to the testing tickets, you will receive a seal code. Previously, when in the paper versions of the test, to open up that day's test, we would break a seal. Maybe it was a yellow seal or a pink seal, and that would open up that day's test. Well, because we're doing it online now, you will receive a number to open up that day's test, and you will be instructed in the examiner's manual when to give that code to the students. Another thing that you will find in your folder is scratch paper. Scratch paper now becomes secured materials. You will be asked to count the scrap paper when you get it, and it will be recounted when you return it. For example, if you have those same 15 students, your administrator will probably give you at least 30 sheets of scrap paper. You will count those 30 sheets of scrap paper and take them with you. Each child will be provided one sheet of scrap paper, and on that scrap paper, he or she will need to write their name. As they complete the scrap paper and need another piece, you will take the first piece away from them and give them a second piece of scrap paper. And they will again put their name on that second piece. At the end of testing, when you collect all the materials, you will also be collecting scrap paper. And when you return it to the testing room, your administrator will count that the number of scrap paper pieces that you were given is the same number that you are returning. Pencils will be needed, obviously, for the scrap paper. Students can bring their own pencil or pen to use, and some additional pencils will be provided to you by the administrator. In addition, headphones will be needed to take the test. Most of the headphones will probably be located within the testing room itself. If not, you might be given 1 or 2 headphones if you're working with a small group of students. Calculators are available online for the calculator portions of the test, but in addition to that, some students will be allowed to use a handheld calculator that they use in their daily testing and their daily classroom instruction. So you might be given calculators if it is appropriate for the group that you are administering the test to. What you see here is an example of what a student testing ticket will look like. Remember, you will get 1 student testing ticket for each student on your roster. It will contain the student's name, the session name, and the test that they're taking. It will also, as you can see on the bottom circled in red, include the student's unique username and unique password. Every day that they take the test, they will be given the same sheet of paper, and they will be able to sign into the test and bring them up to their test and their accommodations. The district will be proctor caching the test. Rather than having students go to the internet to take the test from the Pearson website, the test itself will be downloaded into each school's server. The students will take the test from here, and this will allow their test to be saved as they go. If for some reason the test is interrupted, students will not lose any information that they've already put into the test. Once taking the test takes over their computer. They will not have access to any other functions of the computer, such as things like spell check or accessing the internet. As a teacher, you will never be logged into the test. You did not get a student testing ticket, so you will not have a username and password to view the test. You will, however, be given a master computer to use during testing. You will be managing the test via this computer. You will log into the Pearson site, and using your username, which is your West New York email address, and the password that you chose, you will be able to find your session and manage it from this computer. This allows you to start the test, stop the test, resume the test, and view how your students are progressing through the test. More information about this will be given at a later training.